Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are on lesson 47. I'm going to write that nice and big right here. You should be on page 231. Please follow along with me in your book. Here we go. Today's lesson is subtracting mixed numbers with regrouping. Again, I don't think anything here is difficult, but it does require a little bit of thinking and practice. Let's look at this some and some went away story about pies. We are told that we began with 4 1/6 pies on the restaurant shelf. The server sliced one of the whole pies into sixths, and then the server removed 1 1/6 pies. How many pies were left on the shelf? Well, if we use pictures, we would have something that looks like this, 4 1/6 pie. I'm going to take one of those pies and cut it into 6 pieces, and then I'm going to remove 1 2/6 pies. Notice in this drawing the way we've put the pie that's divided into fractional parts over with the other fractional part. In a way, it looks like we have 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sixth pies, doesn't it? Not exactly a proper way to write a mixed number, but it will be useful as we need to go about our subtraction. So if you turn to page 232, you'll see that we are going to remove 1 2/6 pies. There goes 1 pie, there goes 2/6, and we need to count and see what we have left. We have 2 and 5/6 left. Now let's look at how we're going to solve it mathematically, since we know drawing pictures isn't always quick or convenient. Here we go. 4 1/6 pies minus 1 2/6. Again, we remember our simple subtraction algorithm rules, and if we have a bigger bottom, we need to borrow. In this case, we are going to borrow 1 whole pie, and all we have left is 3. We're going to take that 1 whole pie that we've borrowed and rename it as another name for 1, split into 6 parts because we are working with a fraction that has 6 as a denominator. So we'll rename it as 6/6. We'll add it to the 1/6 we already have. And in this case, we will rewrite that top number as 3 7/6. Now we can simply follow our subtraction rules. 7/6 minus 2/6 is 5/6. That is hard to say. And 3 minus 1 is 2, and we have 2 5/6 pies left over. The same answer we arrived at when we used our pictures. Let's look at example 1. In this case, we're asked to subtract 5 1/3 minus 2 2/3. I'm going to move my work right up here so I have a little bit more room. 5 1/3 minus 2 2/3. Here we go. I cannot subtract 1/3 and 2/3. We have a bigger bottom, better borrow. So I'll take one of our wholes. Now I only have 4. I need to take that 1 whole and rename it in fraction form as a fraction equivalent to 1 with a denominator of 3, since we're working in thirds. So I know that I'll rename it as 3/3. Well, now I have 3/3 and 1/3, and that actually gives me a total of 4/3. I'm going to make a little note up here. Now I subtract. 4/3 minus 2/3 is 2/3, and 4 minus 2 is 2, and my answer should be 2 2/3. Yay, we did it! Looking at your lesson practice, I do want you to write out the problem. I do want you to show your work so that I can make sure you are borrowing correctly. And would you please do problems A, B, and C?